Canadian stereotypes. You know what? I'm Canadian. I'm gonna tell you if this is all true. Yes, I'm Canadian.
Hi, I'm GingerPale, and I live in Canada. To start this video off, I want you to picture in your head what you think a typical Canadian looks like.
Done.
Wait, can I see?
Get it? There's nothing because Canada isn't real.
Shut up, Ivan. But for real, is it something like this? Or maybe this? How about this? Yeah, that's a polar bear. They can have nationalities too. Well, Canada's a huge place, and all of these examples may be true, but it doesn't mean the whole country is lumberjacks and mounties riding moose and
Okay, so this look of a lumberjack, like right here, there are lumberjacks that dress like this. This, the Mounties, they're federal cops. Pretty much what this is, right? So we have normal police, alright? They look extremely close like they look in America, like in the US, alright? And the Mounties are the federal police. You're gonna see them usually in like national parks and everything, but it's not really something that you will see like everywhere. It's really like more like in, or like I say, Ottawa or Toronto, like really like where all the politics is. That's where you're most likely to see them. You won't see them like far away. You know what I mean? So yeah. And yeah, mooses. Those things are really scary. They can fuck up pretty much any car you have. So if there's one blocking the road, it is now his road. It is not yours. Don't honk your car, you're gonna regret it. Don't try to scare it at your car, you're gonna regret it. Alright? When this thing is on the road, it's his road, not yours. And polar bears are just known to be eating people and stuff. So, yeah. Canada is a weird place. I'll tell you that. Canada is a weird place because during summer, there's moments where it'll be like 20 degrees Celsius, and the day after it'll be like 40 degrees Celsius. Like, Canada can go from one extreme to the other. And usually, sometimes during winter, it is possible for Canada to reach minus 40 degrees Celsius. It is rare, but it did happen. Usually, it's minus 35 degrees Celsius. Usually, that's where it stops. Sometimes it reaches minus 40. This year, it's not been the case. This year, it's the coldest, I think, was like minus 21, which is like really weird. It's never been like this hot in the winter this year. But look, I'm not complaining. Less snow to shovel, and yeah.
bears. Off topic, don't you think that multiple moose should be referred to as meese? Because multiple goose is geese, and you know, they're pretty close. Anyways, like whatever country you live in, we also goose is geese, and you know, they're pretty close. Anyways.
I mean, the principle that there is a double O in their name, yes, but in terms of animals, no. Whatever.
Like whatever country you live in, we also have a variety of people. I mean, look at us, we're the second largest country in the world. So I don't get where you guys are coming up with these stereotypes, but I'm gonna be talking about some of them. Number 1, it's super cold. A lot of people seem to think we live in some
That's what I was saying.
sort of year-round frozen wasteland where all our houses are built from ice blocks. But I'll have you know, my house is built out of sticks and scotch tape. And as
Okay, so Canada is not all igloos, right? A lot of the buildings, and almost every building in Canada looks exactly as they do all around the world. The design might be different, like the visual aspect is different, but it's the same principle. It's cement, it's bricks, it's wood, it's metal. It's the same thing. We don't all have igloos. There is some igloos, like on the top north of Canada, they might have igloos, because there's snow almost all year up there. But even then, it's not like if you go to like Ottawa or Montreal or Quebec or whatever, you're gonna see buildings. It's not all igloos. And there is, however, wooden cabins. There are. And however, our houses are not made of wood with logs like like log cabins like you showed. That's not the case. But there are some buildings which are made like this. But it's more like an artistic choice more than anything else, really.
For the weather, yeah, in the winter it does get to like minus 40 degrees Celsius. Fun fact, minus 40 degrees Celsius equals minus 40 Fahrenheit. In the summer, which we do have,
I don't fucking know where it is. Okay, so there you go, you have it. Right here. 40 degrees Celsius is 104 degrees Fahrenheit. So technically it's minus 104 Fahrenheit. If I put a minus. Wait, what? Forget what I just said. Apparently minus 40 degrees Celsius is minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. I did not know that. Okay. I don't get the Fahrenheit system. Like, honestly, I don't get the Fahrenheit system. I don't.
it goes up to like 32 degrees Celsius. That's 90 Fahrenheit. So boom, take off your scarves and break out the ice cream because summer
Usually 30, 35 is the max, but sometimes it reaches 40.
gets decently warm. But I mean, it's basically t-shirt weather when it doesn't sting to breathe in the cold air. Let's also take a look at our beloved restaurant slash cafe, Tim Hortons. On their menu, they have iced cappuccinos and frozen lemonade. Tell me, why would they have frozen drinks if it were always cold here?
What if they were regular drinks, but then they froze?
I guess you have a point. But no, Canada's
I mean, yeah, why not? But, yeah, they do have those drinks all year round. And I'm gonna tell you something. I actually once ordered a frozen drink at Tim Hortons during winter. Like, I actually did this once. Don't ask me why. I was walking, I saw Tim Hortons and was like, you know what? I really want that iced drink. I think it was like an frozen lemon drink, like a sweet lemon drink, but frozen. And I don't know, I just walked past it. I'm like, yeah, I want one. I'm gonna order one. It was minus 25 degrees Celsius that day. Don't ask me why.
This is the next hot destination for Funland. Bring you and the family. Bring the kids. Disneyland. Number 2. All your money looks like Monopoly money.
Hey, if I come, is it okay to bring any type of Monopoly money? Like if I have the Star Wars version of Monopoly, will it still count, or do I need to have money from the original game?
We're gonna do a game, right? You have to picture here, Monopoly money. I'm gonna take the most common bill we have in Canada, the $20 bill, right? This is what it looks like. Okay? Does this look like Monopoly money to you? Well, now I'm looking at it, I may understand why you're saying this. The big 20 here makes it look a bit like Monopoly money, but still it's not. I don't know why that came to be like, hey, Canada has Monopoly money. I don't get why. It's really not the case. Like, really not. But like, sure. That's one stereotype I don't get.
Okay, yes, we have colorful money, but we're not the only country that does that. Why did us friendly Canadians get stuck with this stereotype? Is it because we're an easy target? Because we try to be nice? That's rude. But it wasn't always this way. Canada's money used to be just as boring as the US. Actually, you know what? I bet you $100 that Canada got colorful money before Monopoly was even invented.
That's interesting. Boring, yeah. 1904, alright.
Huh. Well, guess I owe you. Here you go. Number 3. You love maple syrup. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really care for pancakes, waffles, or French toast.
Canada is the biggest producer of maple syrup in the world. At least I believe. No, I'm gonna check. But I'm pretty sure that Canada is the number 1 production of maple syrup. Canada produces 71%. Canada produces 71% of the world's maple syrup, 91% of which is produced in Quebec. Well, yeah, I believe it. I believe it. You know what? I'm gonna show you something. Because you Americans, there's something we need to talk about. We need to talk, US. To the US, maple syrup looks like this, right? Like this. Or this. You know, like in those type of containers. Pretty sure there are other companies, other brands, but you get the idea, right? They're all like this. But I'm gonna tell you something. All of those bottles, right? This one, this one, this one, this one. Even those ones, okay? All of those maple syrups are either fake or diluted, alright? The real maple syrup always comes in a can, right? Don't care about the brand. That's not important. Real maple syrup comes in a can, always. You want to know how? All of those bottles of maple syrup right there will have an ingredient list, right? Like it is the law in the US and Canada that all of the products have an ingredient list. This one doesn't, but it actually has. I just saw it. It's very small, but I don't know if you can see it properly. Probably not. I'll try to show you a picture, but it says ingredient maple syrup. But if you look at the others, the maple syrup in those glass containers, right? Or in those plastic bottles, that will all have maple syrup, water, and corn syrup. Usually. They modify the recipe with corn syrup and water because it costs less money. And like this can right here, right? This can. A can like this is 10 Canadian dollars. To give you a better idea. That's $7 American. Okay? Usually those things you see here are gonna be $6 to $8. Okay, I'm gonna say $8. That's $5.65. So you go to $5.65 American to $7 American. It's not a big, like, you need to understand that in the US maple syrup is more expensive than in Canada because, well, you buy the maple syrup from Canada and import it to the US. Because that it's more expensive, right? But compared to plastic bottles or glass bottles, this is still more expensive. But this is the real stuff. This is just maple syrup. It has not been diluted with water. It has not been mixed with high fructose corn syrup. No, it is just pure maple syrup. I saw a lot of videos back in the day of people claiming they tried maple syrup. What they try was stuff in glass bottles or plastic bottles like this. That is not real maple syrup. It's always diluted with water or corn syrup or other stuff. You want to try maple syrup? Come to Canada, go to a grocery store and buy a can of maple syrup. Look at the ingredients and make sure it only says maple syrup. That's it. And there's also two types of maple syrup. This one is dark, right? It is a dark maple syrup. There's also a lighter maple syrup, and the first thing that changes when you look at it is the color. This one is very, like, it's a dark color. It's a dark brown. And the light maple syrup, it's a lighter brown. They're both maple syrup, it's just that the dark brown is more concentrated, right? So the dark one is more concentrated, meaning it the maple flavor, it's even stronger. Some people like maple syrup, but they don't like when it's too concentrated, but they still want the real maple syrup. So you go with the light option, which is still maple syrup. It's just maple syrup. It's just less concentrated. I spent like 10 minutes on this point, but I really need to explain this to you because I see so many people go to Canada or buy this online and think it's maple syrup. It is not maple syrup, right? It's maple syrup with water and corn syrup. And some cases, there's more corn syrup than maple syrup. Or it's corn syrup with maple flavoring. Just a thing you know.
Pretty much anything that you actually should put maple syrup on. Instead, I usually just drink it by itself. I got maple running through my veins. But eventually I was like, diabetes, so I slowed down on that. In grade 9, during the holiday season, I had a friend who got me a little baby jug of maple syrup. I was drinking it during class, and then my teacher saw, and she took it away because she thought I was being gross. But then we had a Secret Santa that
I'm about to say something. One day in high school, I went to the grocery store during lunch to buy lunch because the food they make, like for dinner at my high school, was disgusting. Right? I have an idea, and I'm planning on trying to recreate those dinner lunches like they used to give me at school. I believe this will be a very good idea. Like just the taking what I remember from what they served us and try to recreate it, because I swear most of the food was disgusting. Well, disgusting maybe a bit harsh, more like not good. And so because of that, for like 2 to 3 years, I bought food outside of school because I just couldn't do it. And one day I go to the grocery store and they have a little bottle, because yes, I know what you're gonna say. I just spent about 10 minutes about how maple syrup in plastic bottles or glass bottles is not real maple syrup, it's diluted. I do consume some of it sometimes. I know you're gonna be like, you just went for 10 minutes about how it's not real maple syrup until you eat it. Look, this happened, alright? It happened. I still prefer the canned stuff. Don't get me wrong, I still prefer the canned stuff. But this happened. And in the past, when I went in the high school, I went to the grocery store and they sell little bottles, like big like this, right? Of maple syrup. So really small. And I bought it for like $2, and I remember I was in front of my buddies and I just drank the whole thing. I don't know why I just did.
That day, and my Secret Santa knew exactly what I loved and decided to get me maple cookies and a large jug of the same maple syrup. All the signs pointed to it. Yep, drink it. So I did. My favorite thing to do in the winter is take a bunch of maple syrup and boil it, then pour it over snow, and it becomes taffy. And if you screw up, you just have a maple-flavored slushy. This is also good.
Yeah. There is Canada, what we call in French, cabane à sucre, where I guess if you translate it to English would be called sugar cabin. Doesn't make any sense, but it's basically like somewhere that many families will go, and you pay a certain amount and they will bring you food, right? It's like a big restaurant with like tables like 30, 40 peoples, all right? And like they bring containers of maple syrup, and there's like 6 or 7 containers of maple syrup on the table, and they bring like eggs, bacon, sausage, pancakes, French toast, right? Just in big containers, they put on the middle table, and when you just pick the food you want, pull all the maple syrup you want it and eat, right? It's really like a big family thing, like reunion for winter. Sadly, it's a tradition, but it wasn't really a tradition, but something that Canadians really love. But as the years go by, it's less and less popular, mainly because of inflation. It's a thing that's dying today. It's something that's dying, and it's sad that it's dying because prices are just way too expensive now. Like those cabins, those sugar cabins, like cabane à sucre, there's less and less of it because, well, there's no point for them to making this. Like the cabane à sucre, sugar cabins, I don't know what's the term in English, but if you translate, that's what it is. It's where they're making maple syrup, all right? And since they're making maple syrup, they're just making those events, because at the end of those events, there's a gift shop, which of course they're selling maple syrup there. Of course they're selling maple syrup, and then even sometimes give you a tour on how it is made. Like, this is the trees where we collect it, this is where we boil it, this is where we clean it, this is where we're concentrating it, you know what I mean? They show you the process, and in the end, they bring hot maple syrup and pour it inside of snow, all right? And the snow is like molded and like, okay, I'm gonna find an image. Give me a second. See, like this. All right, they're gonna put snow, make a little hole, right, like this. Did they really try to point there? Yeah, I really did. They make a little hole in the snow like this. They pour the maple syrup, and because the snow is so cold, it hardens and becomes almost like a candy, you know, like those things you buy at the grocery store for like 50 cents on a stick. That's what it becomes. Like you say, it becomes toffee. That's pretty much what it is. And it's like so good. It's really a nice tradition that is dying today, sadly, because it just gets too expensive. But it's really something that is nice.
Good. I just realized I'm not really helping the stereotype, but like, everyone likes maple. What, America? You just gonna sit there and pretend you don't drown your breakfast in maple syrup? We just happen to like it more, so we put it in our flag. Why don't you guys stick a cheeseburger or something in yours? Shots fired. And wow, with that savagery, how could you think all Canadians are nice? Sorry, America, I didn't mean it. I love you, baby. Now, before we get to the last one, let's do some bonus terms. I'm just gonna kind of rapid fire these. Mickey, little bottle of booze. 2-6, big bottle of booze. Runners, running shoes. I mean, do you say slipping shoes instead of slippers? Pop. Not soda. Toque. It's like a beanie or something.
Yeah. Toque is the French term. And toque in French pronounce une sucre. Like one toque, une sucre. If I can only tell you that's how we pronounce it in French. But yeah, it's pretty much like something you put on your head when it's too cold during winter.
Loonie, $1 coin that has a loon on it. Toonie, 2 loonies make a toonie. Get it? It's a $2 coin.
Do I have one? Yes, I do. Oh shit, I do. Okay. But they're a bit dirty, but you get the idea. This is a loonie, right? It's a $1 coin. Maybe if I try to turn on this light, maybe you can see it better. It doesn't change anything. This is a loonie, right? This is a toonie. It's a $2 coin. And as you can see, the toonie, so the $2 coin, has a loonie inside. Well, a smaller loonie. I'm gonna be honest with you. We call it loonie and toonie. I never hear anyone call this a loonie and a toonie. They always say, do you have a $1? Do you have a $2? And like, commonly you're gonna go to the streets, you're never gonna hear loonie, toonie. You're gonna hear, do you have a $1 or a $2 coin? It is technically the official term. Nobody uses them.
And it has a bear on it. Poutine, fries covered in gravy and cheese.
You know, okay, so he always makes like food ranking stuff. I can turn this on. This off. He always makes like food ranking stuff. Man, this is so close to be number one for me. It's so good. A lot of people find this disgusting, like the concept of it. Shut up and try it. Come to Canada, alright? Come to Canada to try this. And then we'll talk.
And finally, A. Lots of people seem to think that we just throw the word into sentences randomly. Wait, does it even count as a word? I don't know what it is. But when I actually do hear people use it, it's usually in place for the word right. Example, the weather sure is bad, right? The weather sure is bad, eh? I mean, the odd time I'll hear someone say it, but it definitely doesn't just get tossed around between every word.
Hey, wanna know where the name Canada came from?
Honestly, no, not really. Feel like this won't be legitimate at all.
Some explorers were trying to name the new country they had settled in, but they were having no luck, so they put all the letters in a hat and started pulling randomly. Hey, what's the first letter? C, eh? Next? N, eh? One more? D, eh? I think we got it, and that's how Canada got its name.
Why are you like this? Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I sure didn't. All these generalizations hurt my feet.
I don't believe this story, but okay, sure, why not?